Just ahead on Crossroads, we're on location in Fairmount for James Dean weekend. See how the town is looking ahead and remembering the past.
There's more to see in Fairmount than meets the eye. We head up some James Dean landmarks.
Plus, it wouldn't be James Dean without the cars. We'll take a ride in a classic.
And rebels with a cause. Some local graffiti artists create murals with a message. It's all just ahead on Crossroads.
Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome to Crossroads. I'm Randall King.
And I'm Annika Peterson.
And you just met Annika Peterson on our last show officially. And here we are on location in Fairmount for the James Dean weekend. And it's your first time, isn't it?
It is my first time. And I actually knew nothing about James Dean until I got here in Marion and saw his name everywhere. And it really surprised me how much of an impact he's made in the whole country, actually.
Well, you are young. She's young,
True.
everybody. But also, you grew up in Georgia, only recently moved to Indiana. So you just didn't hear about James Dean like everyone else around here has done so. But you're learning very quickly, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more, too.
Well, we're going to be here for the entire show to continue that learning. And some of you have been here recently. Some of you haven't been in years. Some of you first-timers. Some of you are thinking, I need to do that next year. We've got something for you on this show. No matter how many times you've been or if you've never been at all, you get here a short while, it's very clear, Annika, James Dean's made a big mark on this town.
Yeah, he certainly has. And his legacy goes far beyond this festival with all the vintage cars and the vendors. It's really about growing the town of Fairmount through local business.
It's the James Dean Festival's 44th year, and the visitors come from all around. They're drawn by the legacy of James Dean, the festivities, and the charm of Fairmount itself.
This weekend is really fun because it lets people kind of peek into a little bit of timeless history that we have here in Fairmount. James Dean has brought a lot to our town just from being here, and so we're forever grateful for James Dean because he just kind of has put this tiny town on the map.
This is a great festival. This has been 44 years. That's just unbelievable. And the tens of thousands of people that not only come from Indiana, but internationally as well.
This hometown hero left behind more than just an annual parade and car show. For the business owners near Main Street, this weekend event is a chance to bring some extra customers through the doors.
He's a big draw to Fairmount. A lot of tourists come through Fairmount, which helps my business. Last year at the end of the weekend, I had one piece of furniture left in the shop. So it was great.
James Dean was just a kid when he walked these streets, stood just outside this bank, and left an impact he could never have imagined.
It's an annual reminder of who he was, and very symbolic and representative of Midwestern values. A very unassuming individual, very, very well liked, and I think that goes a long way, at least as far as the brand of James Dean, but the community embraces that.
James Dean's fame spread quickly in his short life, but his heart always remained at home. Those closest to the man know it best.
Fairmount was kind of his roots, and I guess you'd say his formative years were here in Fairmount. And I think everybody's real proud of him.
Local residents and business owners are proud, but also grateful for the legacy James Dean left behind in his hometown of Fairmount. For Crossroads, I'm Annika Peterson.
Well, Annika, as we are talking about the impact, and you had so many different people in there that gave it from different perspectives, I think you found out it's huge, and it actually means a lot of money for this town, too.
Yeah, it does. And some are more or less connected to James Dean himself, some related to him, actually. But some, yeah, it's really just a chance to get extra customers in the door, and that means a lot as well.
It does, and you can see the transformation of downtown. This is one weekend in September, but it pays dividends all year round. Yeah. It's exciting. Well, what a legacy from 3 movies and a local hero made good. We've got more on James Dean for you. When we come back, you may have heard of the James Dean Tour. There's a map you can follow anytime, not just on James Dean weekend, and we'll give you a fun look when we come back. Well, welcome back to Crossroads. We're still on location in Fairmount, and whether you come on James Dean weekend or you're here year-round, we wanted you to know there's now the James Dean Tour that's self-guided and you can take. You can just look it up online. We're going to show you a few spots. It starts right here at the Winslow Farm. As many of you know, James Dean was born in Marion, but he grew up here on the farm, and there's so many memories attached to that shaped young Jimmy, playing with his cousin Marcus and getting to know the rest of this area. Fairmount is deeply embedded in who James Jimmy Dean is all about. You might want to drive, you might want to walk, because a lot of these sites are pretty close together. Just down from the Winslow Farm is the Back Creek Friends Church, and this is where the Winslows brought a young Jimmy to worship every single Sunday when he was living with them. It's also where friends and family gather every September 30th to remember his passing. Sometimes that occurs on James Dean Festival weekend, and sometimes it might be a day or two later. But this is always going to be the place where those who gather who remember him best, long before the Hollywood legend was born. Here's one you might miss if you go too quickly on your way back into town. Right on the outskirts in a little gas station, there's this lovely park and this sculpture of James Dean. Now the story goes, Jimmy liked the work of the sculptor named Kenneth Kendall. He had seen him sculpt his idol, Marlon Brando, and said, "I'd like a bust just like that. Would you work for me?" Well, Kendall started that work on the night James Dean was killed. And he finished it up, and now it sits at the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, the original, because that was a famous site for Jimmy Dean where he filmed scenes from Rebel Without a Cause. But this exact copy is right here. You don't have to go to Los Angeles to see it. It's here in Fairmount, a tribute from one artist to another. Some people on this tour may want to go to the place where young Jimmy Dean discovered his love for acting, and that, of course, is Fairmount High School. Now, a few years ago, the town leaders finally had to tear this building down after a number of years of disrepair. All that's left is a gymnasium where some kids still play in a few basketball leagues. But you know, young Jimmy Dean didn't discover his passion in the gym, it was on the stage. And fortunately, just like Jimmy Dean's legacy, the stage from the high school lives on. This is the floor where James Dean learned to act. A few years ago, some concerned citizens brought it piece by piece here to Playacres Park. And now, year-round, musical and artistic performances, dramatic performances are played out for the people of Fairmount. What a fitting legacy. Art breeds art for a local legend. Enjoy this tour, folks. Take it at your own pace. There's some sights we cut out. You will not forget it. Well, when we come back, speaking of Playacres Park, it's filled with cars every James Dean weekend, and Annika Peterson will find out what it's like to cruise in one of the classics. Stay with us.
Hello, welcome back to Crossroads. I'm with Mike Panicia, and he's going to tell me about some cars. So, what should I know about this James Dean Festival and all the vintage cars around me?
Well, it's been going on for the 40th year now. It's been a very popular show, as you know. James Dean has been popular ever since he made movies in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And since his death, they have this show in honor of him. About some of the cars, there's quite a variety here, but it's mostly keyed to Mercury's, because that's what he drove in the movie Rebel Without a Cause. And of course, there's a variety of other cars.
Do they all kind of come, are they all built around the area time frame of James Dean, or no?
Some of them are, some are a little bit newer.
Yeah.
His was a 1949 Mercury, and so even some of the newer Mercurys come here, and plus a variety of custom cars, trucks now.
So this is my first time here at James Dean Festival. How long have you been coming, and what keeps you coming back?
Well, I've came to this show probably close to 20 years, maybe even a little longer. I keep coming back because I like the old cars, and It's a nice show. You have a variety. You meet a lot of different people from all over the country. There's people from not only Indiana, Michigan, as far as New York, probably even California, and states in between. So it draws a lot of people.
And what about your car? When is this one come
This is a
from?
1950 Ford convertible.
Okay.
It has a Mercury engine in it, which is period correct, but normally it'd have a Ford flathead in it.
Yeah.
I've had it for 11 years, and it's modified a little, but it's not a full custom. I'd call it a mild custom. It has new interior, new paint, and speed equipment on it.
I would love to take a ride in this car to complete my James Dean experience. How about that? Would that
Sure.
be okay?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Mike, for the ride. I got to learn a lot about vintage cars.
Well, that's quite welcome.
Up next, we head back to Marion, where a group of local artists are making a splash downtown.
Well, welcome back to Crossroads. We're still on location in Fairmount, and Annika, I'm looking at that bank back there, and I know you had that kind of photo of James Dean coming out of there in your story earlier. What a great look.
There's a picture of him right in the back. They just put up the sign. It talks about his love for his hometown. It's a really cool bank, actually.
You know, you can now, they've got little photo spots all through Fairmount where you can match those photos that James Dean took. And I'm remembering the very first time we did Crossroads on location in Fairmount was at this spot.
Really?
So good memories for us 13, 14 years ago. But we want to talk about James Dean, the artist. You kind of talked about his business impact earlier, but James Dean's one of many people in Grant County who's made an impact on the arts in this community.
Yeah, it might be a small town, but they have a big heart for art, and that's amazing.
And we've been able to document that over the years on Crossroads. Well, speaking of art, what about beautifying downtowns all over the area? Well, we recently found out Marion is one of 66, get this, legal graffiti walls.
Wow.
Where you can legally do graffiti.
I didn't even know it was that rare.
I know, you didn't know that was a thing, yeah.
I didn't know that.
So we followed some local artists who went to Marion to make their own mark.
Really what we want this building to be is a very inclusive building for the community in which it sits. We're one of 66 legal walls in the US, and there's a registry of legal graffiti walls through a company in Germany, and we're registered with them. We've worked with the police department here. They know that they're not to arrest people painting on the building. There are two sides that they can paint on, which is the back side on the alley, and then there's the south side which has an alley running along it too. That's for graffiti, and the other two sides are going to be where we have professional artists come in and paint murals.
I got an email that was talking about this graffiti wall and that it was just open to anybody to come create and paint. I think art is the best way to express who you are, what you're going through, and I don't know, I just think the community in Marion is just really special, and it's people who have many stories and they come from all over. I just think already the power of art is so necessary, but especially in a place like Marion where so many people can translate what they've been through and what they have experienced and things like that.
I love street art. So we can bring professional artists in, which is great, but also I think it's great for kids in the community, and not just kids, but people in the community, to come in and put up whatever they're feeling. You know, if they're feeling ticked off, they can articulate that. If they're feeling great, they can articulate that as well. And I predict we'll discover some really good artists through this as well. We're very happy with the turnout. We've had probably 125 to 150 people tonight. This is the first night that we're really getting started with this, so I'm hopeful that throughout the next, over the next few years, people come here and keep adding art to the walls.
That was really amazing to see, just the combination of creativity, talent. I know if I were up there, I would have been probably going crazy.
Well, they know what they're doing. I don't know that the two of us
me.
would have, but that's a great thing to look at downtown and say, hey, these people are going to leave something there and it's going to make it look better.
Yeah, yeah.
Legal graffiti, what a great idea. Well, we've had a wonderful time, as we said, on the James Dean Festival, and we encourage you to be a part of this. We're always finding, Annika, people in Grant County who don't take advantage of the Grant County things.
Yeah, I'm one of them, and just now I'm starting to understand really what this community is all about.
Well, you've got a good excuse. You didn't grow up here, but people that grew up here just need to come down. So don't forget, about the 3rd or 4th weekend in September, look for the James Dean Weekend. In the meantime, if you have ideas for stories or places you'd like us to go with Crossroads over the next few months, do email us at crossroads@indwest.edu. That's crossroads@indwes.edu. Or you can send us a letter or a postcard to Crossroads, 4201 South Washington Street, Marion, Indiana, 46953.
And to keep up with where we are and where we're going, visit our Facebook page and like us at our facebook.com/WIWTV, or follow on Twitter at WIWTV.
And the best place to see our latest videos is by subscribing to YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/WIWUTV. And there you'll get updated whenever something new is posted. It's available, of course, on mobile devices, computers, and smart TVs. Well, Annika, I am glad you have learned something about James Dean and James Dean Weekend and the town of Fairmount.
I'm honored.
This is like extending your education.
Yeah, I did not know who he was, and now I know way more about him than a lot of actors. So.
No, we didn't talk about this. Did you get a funnel cake yet?
No, I didn't.
Have you had a funnel cake?
That should be on my list.
In Atlanta
right now.
area, do they do funnel cakes?
They do.
Is it too hot?
Maybe.
Well, you can do it here. Well, for everyone who's been a part of this show on location, I'm Randall King.
And I'm Annika Peterson.
As we like to say, the Crossroads of Life bring people together. That's what we try to do here each week. And we thank you so much for watching.